Okay, my low paradigm peeps, this is Daniel, and I'm just going to do a bunch of Guild Wars 2 stuff since the last beta weekend just passed. I recorded a bunch of footage. I'm basically just going to go over all the aspects of the game as much as I can, as many of the aspects as I can. I didn't get a chance to record everything or get footage of everything to go over, but I'll try to still explain some of those things anyways with different footage. But anyways, Guild Wars 2 last beta event ended. It is releasing on August 28th and couldn't be happier. The game looks awesome. There are a few problems still. Hopefully they're fixed on release or shortly after. Otherwise there will probably be a few issues. But besides that, let's just hop right in. I'll go and I'll start with the characters and professions, and we'll just move along. So when you go to make your first character, or any character, you're going to have a selection of 5 races. You got the Char, the Human, the Norns, Asura, and then finally the Elven Sylvari, the plant elves is what I call them. Now once you've chosen a race, it'll go into the profession screen. First you got Elementalist, the Mage, you got your standard Warrior, then you go with the Guardian, which is more or less a Paladin of sorts. You got Engineer and Ranger, basically Hunter, Necromancer, aka the Warlock, Thief, and then the Mesmer, Illusionist. Definitely going to be that when the game starts up. Alright, so now we'll take a look at the UI of the game. Pretty standard. It's got its little hotkeys at the bottom. You got your first 5 skills are basically your weapon skills. Your skills change based upon the weapons. Now that's only for the first half. The second half are skills that are learned through a skill point system, which will be shown in a little bit. And then I'll go over all the weapon stuff, how you learn those skills and all that fun stuff. So here's your hero screen, basically what your hero is wearing. There is a thing between city clothes and the actual clothes you're wearing. There's a quick switch. There's also dyes, as it's shown on the screen here. You can change the color of all your equipment anytime you want. No money, no nothing, just change the color of the dye. You can get special dyes from boxes you get from drops. You can buy new dyes. You can get dye packs off the cash store, which I'll be showing. Aside from that, that would be the hero screen, and we switch to the skill screen. As you can see, you get little skill points up on the top left that shows 2 there. Then you can come down to your skills. You got 1 healing skill that heals you because there is no designated healers or tanks in this game. Then you got your other skills that give you passive bonuses or give you an active skill that you can activate to give buffs or other such things like that. Now the weapon skills slots will actually show you the different weapons your profession can use. Like the Mesmer can use a sword, greatsword, pistol, scepter, staff. A focus is the offhand that goes with the scepter. A torch, another offhand, spear, and trident for underwater combat. Underwater combat does change your skills as well, no matter what weapon you're using. So, yeah, fun stuff. Now as you come through, you got the My Story menu for the hero, what your story is as the person you are, your single player story, the campaign for you. Then you go down, there is the crafting professions, but I didn't have any at the time, so I can't really show you that menu. And then they have the achievements menu where you get special points. And actually these are also, the achievement points also give you experience. And it gives you arena points. I don't know if they'll be used for anything in the future, but they do give you points. So from there we move on to PvP. PvP is a little bit different. You basically queue for a big area that it's just like a big field. It puts you in an area with a bunch of other players that are waiting to queue for PvP of any sort. And it'll keep queuing you even if you're in a game. So once a game finishes, it'll drop you into another game. So you never have to leave a game and keep re-queuing and then wait again. Once you're in a server, it will keep playing and going. Everyone levels out to everything. Like everyone's the same level, no matter what level you're at. You can enter PvP and play with higher levels. We'll go more into that in just a moment, but for now, let's finish up the UI. There's a thing that gives you hints. It tells you how many of the percentage of hints that you've found throughout the game. Not that these probably matter, but they're there. Of course, you got the hero screen. Inventory, you got your standard bags. I think you can hold up to 6 bags. Contacts, your friends list, guild list. And you got a mailbox. Mailbox in the game, there is no mailbox. It is just on your UI. You open it up, you can throw messages, you can send items to people, you pick up your mail, you get mail from NPCs. Yeah. Then you got your Blackline Trading Company, which is the auction house for players, sell your stuff on the auction house, and also the cash shop for ArenaNet itself. You can buy gems through them. You can also trade gold and get gems from the gold you've earned in-game, which I don't know how that'll work for the economy on them, but anyone that might be impatient, not want to make the gold or can't make gold very well, can buy gems on their cash shop, and then you can buy little items like glasses, dye packs, and anything else. There's a fun one, that cow finisher down there in PvP. When you go to finish off an opponent, it'll drop a cow on them for a certain period of time. So lots of fun there. As we continue, I was wrong about the contacts. The guild menu is actually separate from the contacts menu, but yeah, it'll actually tell you what is a guild, all that freaky fun stuff. And there is more options as you go down once you're in a guild, but I wasn't in a guild in the beta because I don't worry about that, so yeah. World versus world I couldn't get into, but I'll explain it once I go into PvP. You got your options menu with everything else. Edit account will actually drop you into the ArenaNet page for Guild Wars. Yeah. So on to combat. Now you'll notice as I equip these weapons back and forth, you'll see the skills changing on the bottom left. Like I said, all weapons have their own special unique skills, but noting as you equip a new weapon, you have to learn all the skills by killing enemies and so forth. Yeah, but you'll eventually learn all skills. It doesn't take too long. But you notice you can constantly move even while you're casting while fighting. Pretty simple. I mean, it's WoWish, but it's got a lot of true action to it. You can dodge, you can move out of things, but casting attacks do track. It's not like a straightforward, if you aim, you miss. Now, for some reason you die in combat, basically you run out of health. You won't die right away, you get knocked down and basically incapacitated, more or less. You can fight to survive. If you kill an enemy while you're downed, you rally back up and you stand back up and start fighting again with a low amount of health. You can heal, you can do all your other fun stuff, just, yeah, you get knocked down. If you go past that, you will die. You have to restart at a waypoint. So the last part that has to go along with the combat, once you reach level, I think 7, you get weapon swapping. You get a second slot to put a second weapon in. You can swap back and forth in or out of combat on the fly, basically, to swap your skills to the other 5 that other weapon has. Pretty awesome, cool, adds a little bit of change to it. Now, one of the defining features of Guild Wars 2 is their event system, basically their questing system, but you never actually go up to anyone to accept a quest. When you get in range of one of these heart people, or something is just going on in the area, there may not even be a person with the heart over their head that it goes to. But yeah, you do it, you get essentially a quest that a bar fills up. Depending on what you need to do, you just aid the area. It doesn't tell you how many things you need. It just gives you a bunch of options of what you can do. You help out, you do what you need to do. Then you can go to that person and they sell merchandise with currency that you get by doing these quests. Now if you look at the map, I'll be showing an actual thing on the map here in just a moment. All those hearts are quest givers essentially. Now when you're taking a look at the screen here, you can look up on the top right. It has the little bar that I was talking about. It's actually a defend quest. You have to go find the person. It'll actually tell you where the defense points are when you scroll over it. Pop it up on the minimap with a big white circle around it with the range of it. You can go there. That's for one of the different little events they have is the defend ones. There's also the gathering ones, like any other MMO, like gather, kill things, blow things up. They're all in Guild Wars 2, but they go about a different way of doing it, which makes it a lot more immersive and not so grindy, which I'm tired of grinds. We're all tired of grinds for the most part. It's just become a part of MMOs, and we're trying to break that, and Guild Wars 2 does a good job of it. Now, something to go along and help you find events, like just the little heart event givers, is the scouts, the spyglass peeps. They have a little eye telescope thing. They basically scope out the area and tell you people that need help. It pops up on your map. It'll show it even if you haven't discovered the area. It just helps you out so you know where to go. And just got a couple more sections to go over. PvP for one. I didn't get all of the footage I wanted for PvP being world versus world because the queue times were ridiculous. And I guess there's a lot of frame drops in there as well. It's one of the problems right now is there's a lot of lag in the game at periodic points. So not everything is great about the game, but it's fixable things. So I'm sure they'll get it fixed. It's just going to hopefully be by launch, but maybe a little bit after. Who knows? But just to start out, we got the structured PvP as you'll be seeing in the background. Essentially, you can queue in at PvP at level 1. You'll go against level, I think it goes up to level 80 because when you queue in, you're instantly 80 with a bunch of skills. You can configure them how you want. You basically start out with some starter PvP gear. Now, there is levels within PvP. You can actually rank up and get higher levels, get different gear. That's about the only form of progression gear that I've heard of. Apparently, the game doesn't have end game. There's no raid progression from what is being told right now. That may change, but it is ArenaNet and they're not known for end game content in their previous games. So, yeah. Essentially, the idea that they're going with is that end game will involve getting prettier gear, not essentially better gear for you, just prettier to define your character, to make it look different, which is cool. I don't mind that. That makes everyone equal essentially, and it goes more towards skill than it does, oh, I have better gear, I'm going to own everything compared to you. But anyways, back to the PvP, because that's what I'm supposed to be talking about. Yeah, they have different battlegrounds. They do have a few different battlegrounds right now, mainly consisting of capture points, hold them, get up to 500 points, your team wins, off you go into the next match. I think right now they have 3 or 4 different actual battleground maps or PvP maps. They did show an interesting idea for what could be a cool PvP thing. It is what they called Hunger Games. It was the final beta event for this closed beta. And basically you run around with a big team. There's 3 or 4 different teams that run against each other, and you have to kill the other teams. Thing is after a certain amount of time it goes to sudden death where you don't respawn if you die, and throughout the entire time you have to collect rations on the ground, ammunition, because you're given a weapon that you can only use that weapon. You can't use your skills or anything else. You just use this one gun that you're given. It has ammunition. You pick up ammunition off the ground to fill it so you can use it. Like I said, the rations, you can pick up something called exploding rations that you can set down for other unexpected members of the other teams to try and pick up, and then it explodes on them, hurting them and possibly killing them, which would be awesome. Yeah, it seems really awesome. If they actually put that into the game, refine it, it would be epically awesome. I have never seen that form of PvP before in a game or in an MMO, and I really hope to see that in the final product, or at least a couple patches after at least. Now, as far as it goes, world versus world, that's the other form of PvP there is in the game. You get transported to a big world that contains 3 different, essentially, servers, which is what they call is worlds to Guild Wars. You go against 2 other worlds with your world. You go in there, you start destroying bases, you go and you capture stuff. Basically just a big battle royale for 3 different servers to go against each other, which is pretty awesome. Tons of different ideas for PvP in here that a lot of MMOs don't have. Really excited. I don't PvP, as I've said before in other videos, but this definitely might get me into a PvP mood because it just looks awesome. Aside from that, the only other thing I'm going to go over here and just on the next screen is what I didn't get to cover. Let's be it. Dungeons. Yes, there are dungeons. There are end dungeons, but they're not raids. You go into dungeons, there's explore quote unquote dungeons, I believe is what they call them, where it's basically easy-ish mode. There's dungeons that you can run through, and there's a bunch of jumping puzzles. There's jumping puzzles in the world. There's all kinds of little things that you can find in the game itself to occupy yourself. Also, the achievements you can do, which also level you up in the process, so why not do those too? Let's see here. Dungeons, outdoor stuff. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, aside from that, when you're a higher level, you cannot go to a lower level area and own everything, because when you go into an area, you scale down to that level. The only thing you keep is the skills you've obtained by being at a higher level. And in some cases, this is where a lot of people aren't happy with the Guild Wars idea of no end game other than a few dungeons, is the fact that you don't want to go to lower level stuff to redo it and play it again, even though it's not really a grind feel anymore with the way that they do the questing system. But after a while, you just get bored of doing the same events over and over again. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, it was just in beta for the last time, so we'll see what they change based on feedback, because they've actually been changing stuff as a matter of feedback. But aside from that, this is all the aspects of Guild Wars 2 that I can think of to give you information on. Releases August 28th. Looks like it's going to be friggin' awesome. It's going to be free to play essentially after you buy the copy of the game itself, so there is no subscription. Buy it, go play it forever. You can drop it, pick it back up whenever you want, never have to pay a subscription fee. This is Daniel. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe.